Girls are so particular with their hair. You think that girls are so particular with their hair, but no. My son's very particular with his hair. I mustn't talk about him while he's walking past. He said he doesn't want the wind blowing in his face because it exposes his hairline. Huh? And his hairline's not straight. It's like, what? Why do you need your hairline to be straight? And isn't that the beauty of like the hairline, is that it's not straight? You know, it's like a beach. I find those things pretty, and he's there like covering his face when the wind blows in his hair. Only hormones understand hormones, you see, and I'm not a hormone, I'm a human. So but I'd like to understand hormones, and then I'd be able to understand why it's influencing my son like that. Like, my son has been influenced by hormones, and I want to know why they're in his body and what they're saying to him. I don't know if I paid attention to my hormones. Maybe I did. What did my hormones say to me? I don't know if I paid attention to hormones or if I was just... Oops. I think from a very young age I was trying to figure out how to like change the world. Anyways, welcome back to a video. I need to shout, I need to speak loud, and I need to be excused for that. And I'm sorry if somebody could hear me and they're like, girl, you speak so loud. And I'm like, yes, I do. I'm sorry about that. So let me just get comfortable in my loud voice because I've been quiet and now it's just like, ugh, I got to talk. Wow. I do feel quite positive. So from my last video last week, I was on a high, and as usual, this world of weirdness, I went downwards after that. And for some reason when I was on a running machine today and I was like observing things, I kind of made peace with something here that I need to talk about today. Probably not on my list, because all of these things on my list right now, I don't want to talk about them because I don't have the answers to them. And plus I'm just like being like everybody else, right? Where like they're just like clever to make sense of what it is that they are going through, and then they get answers from their own brain about how it is to make sense of everything. We're all doing that in relation to many different things. So, you know, we justify everything based on what is around us. We make sense of everything based on what is around us. Yet somebody across the world has the same ability to do the same thing, but they're doing it to a complete different thing. And yet you stand there when you make sense of it, because it's like you help yourself, so you make sense of it, and then you stand by it as if it's the truth. Because it's helped you, but then somebody across the world has done the same thing and they've come to a different truth. And I find that like messy. Like, it's just messy. You know why it's messy, yeah? And I'm just like trying to understand myself, like, why am I like this? And then I've been speaking to my friend that I've reconnected to, and you know, like, she's saying all these things to me that I'm just like, no, that's not true. And then her beliefs is like, in my head, it's just like so opposing my beliefs, and it's like, no, that's not true. But she then is able to then just like go, fine, well, I'm gonna get about my truth, and then, you know, we could be friends in this particular way, and we don't have to agree, Nayna. And I'm like, no, like, and I don't know why I'm like that. And I think I've started to understand. Oh my god, like, it was like fluff everywhere, but is it invisible fluff? You know, you're just like, Nayna, there's nothing on your face. Is there not? I can feel it. I know that people who believe in angels and stuff, they will be like, oh, it's the angels, darling. Or people who can see things, they'll be like, no, I can see the angel. It's like to clean your face. Oh my god, stop it. And now I've got to check my face, because one time I did a video and then the whole entire video has some like a black mark on my face. Do you think I deleted the video? No. Did I still post it? Yes. I'll be back. One of them ones where you just have to like accept your face for what it is. Is that my face? Do I look like that? And it's like, yes, darling, that is how you look like. And I'm like, okay. What? Okay. And then you just like ignore it, because you don't know if you like how you look like. You don't know if you hate it. You don't know if you love it. And then you don't really want to like conclude it either, because what if you conclude that you hate your face? And then life would just become like very bad, because like you can't get rid of the face. I mean, obviously people like go and do plastic surgeries, don't they? Oh, maybe they've admitted to themselves that they don't like their face. Well, I don't want to admit that I don't like my face. So therefore I'm just like ignoring the mirror. Oops. Sorry, I will stop laughing, I will start talking. Okay, so then I'm trying to understand why I am like this, where I don't want the world to be messy. I don't want there to be two different composing beliefs. Composing? What is the word I'm looking for? Hey! I know that there's another word here, because why did I say composing? There must be another word, and I know that there's contradictive beliefs, but that's not the one that I was looking for. I know that. Maybe it is the one I was looking for. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. Anyway, contradictive beliefs, right? So then I'm just like, that's messy. That's messy behavior. You know what it is, right? About my character is that I want to, oh God, this. You know, like if somebody was watching me right now from afar, they'd be like, oh no. So I think every time I pick this thing up here, it starts doing it. I'm going to keep my hands down here. I think the thing about my my brain is that it wants to know the correct way, the correctness, so then I can do and be correct. So my brain can't comprehend why there would be two correct ways. It's not even about two correct ways yet, because that I can make peace with that, because I'm still correct. If you're correct, I'm still correct. Do you know what I mean? I think it's literally just like the confusion of like, wait, how does that work? And then not knowing how it works. There's some type of like reaction going on with like this subject. And I just want to understand how two things can be correct and what God is. And I don't want to just do what everybody else is doing in terms of just accepting that life is just this way, right? Because then okay, so then life must be this way because I'm observing it to be this way, so my life must be this way. And I'm just like, no. How about I don't use my brain to conclude anything? I don't use my brain to make sense of anything. And how about I come out of my brain and I understand life without a brain? And I know that that's a bit impossible, because obviously I've got to die to do that, which I've been willing to do that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Anyway, but as I was in the gym today and I was like, somebody sent me something about like somebody's ideas, and this person's ideas were just so, like I said, contradictive to like my ideas and my feelings, right? So then I deem my feelings as like really peaceful, and I want the world to be really peaceful and really calm and really beautiful and really giving and really just perfect. And then this person's ideas of life was just not that. It was quite the opposite, actually. It was like, you know, painting God to be a selfish God, or a human God, let's say, with like human thoughts and human behaviors and human progress. And like this whole universe, actually, when we talk about like different dimensions and we talk about the journey of life, it's all very heavily based on what it looks like for it's always based on what a human process and life looks like. And I'm just so like thinking that just can't be right, because isn't the human experience like just literally like one minute expression of life? So then to paint God and to paint dimensions in the same way, isn't that just like so small minded? And I know that people like go out their bodies, they go projecting, what? They go astral projecting, they go to the astral projecting worlds, and then like their stories match the progress and process of the human instead of otherworldly expressions. To be honest with you, yeah, I've only ever heard, you know, a handful of stories, because I don't even have patience to sit there and listen to them. Because as soon as they say something that's just like contradictive to like this peace and kindness that I have in my chest, then I just don't want to listen to it anymore. And I was saying this to my friend when I was talking to her, that I don't have patience to like sit there and listen to stories from other people. Anyway, let me move on with what I'm saying. I've got here on my list to talk about life is not a story, it's playing a story. And I was like, because of these little debates that I've been having with this friend, and like how frustrated I feel at having to even have debates, because I don't have the patience right now to have debates, right? Because she was saying like, you don't know what God is, right? So then how can you be sure of what it is that you're feeling, what it is that you're saying, because you don't know what God is? And then for some reason when she says that, my whole body reacts in a way of like, well, my body's saying something, isn't it? It's saying something, and actually that something, I really truly believe in it, and I know that everybody else is doing the same thing, right? So I don't know what that means, right? But at least then I could probably assume that there's some type of code inside of me that is speaking. And then for some reason my brain connects with that code, and it's just this expression of life is expressing this code. And again, I keep going back to like, why do people have different codes, and why is it that there's different truths? And I just feel like, do you know what, if it was all fun and games, yeah, and we were just like messy for fun and games, I would understand it. But I can't express to you enough here how suffering and how pain is not fun. My God, like the past year of what I've experienced in my bedroom in this house has not been fun. I don't care who says it is fun and who would argue to say, oh, but it's fun. I'd be like, oh, but it's not. None of it was fun. It was actually hell. It was horrible. It was torture. So if that didn't exist, like all this torture and horribleness, right? This world and my experience of this world of like people being mean, people being horrible, people like being rejectful. And then I'm here in my room because I can't be bothered to deal with any of them. So then I'm hiding, and then like I've fallen out with like all of my friends, and I've fallen out with my family. And the only person that I have is like my son, and you know, he's not even developed enough to be my friend. And it's just all like a mess, right? And then meanwhile, God is like silent and so like there's just too many arguments and too many contradictions and too many things that don't make sense for me to be happy that everybody's just so different, right? But if none of that was happening and we were just like happy to be messy, then of course I'd be like, yeah, cool, we're all messy, that's fine. But that's not what's going on, is it? Anyway, back to my comment. Life is not a story, it is playing a story. And I don't know why, right? I just have to take a pause here because, oh, no. You know, you just can't even be bothered to even say what it is that you're thinking, because like somebody else could just feel something so different. So then why am I telling you what I think if you just believe in something different? And then like my friends will be like, well, because that's how life works, we're all helping each other to find the truth. And then I'm just sitting there going, well, that is not nice, is it? Because who put that game in place? And you know what it is that I'm having a problem with, yeah? Is that I don't want to play. And it's like I don't have an option but to play. And I don't want to play. I want to go and do something else. Like, I don't want to play this game. And it's like, well, you don't have an option, you have to play. And it's like, so if you're going to force me to play, then I'm going to start getting impatient with all of these modes, because it's just irritating, like everything's irritating. So then I was sitting in the gym today. No, I wasn't sitting, I was running. I think it's my British way of speaking. I was sitting in the gym, like you weren't sitting, like was ya? You was running. I was running in the gym today and I was looking outside. I go on like I run throughout the whole time. I don't. I walk and I run. And then I was just thinking, yeah, okay, life is trying to help me. I can feel it because of all of the positive things, all of the positive energies that I get. Life is trying to help me, right? So then as I was running, I said, but why don't you intervene? And then I got, because I get these ideas like that, just like my brain does this thing and it just brings back like a sentence, so it brings back like a image, right? So it does that all the time. So then it brought back the image of like, so to intervene will mean to remove you. It will mean to like end it, and we don't want to end it because you've been placed there to do something. So then it will be not what we want to take you out, right? And I was like, okay, but then why don't you just stop this whole world? And then again, it's the same answer. Well, to stop this whole world, we have to end it, and to end it would be a bit of I don't know what to call that, but it's just like, it's just such a big thing to do when really that's not what's truly desired. Like, to end it, even though it is desired like in these like individual ways, it's not desired. Anyway, so then I was like, okay, so you can't end it and you can't intervene. What? This time when I was like in the running machine and I was thinking these things, like it was making more sense than it ever did before, because before I'd get angry at that and I'd be like, no, but why is God weaker than this brain? Like, why did God make it that way? Like, But I started to really see how like this brain here, I guess like the brain and the way that it works and all of these processes that I've been like observing, and I've been so tired of it. Like, I don't want to think, I don't want to see, I don't want to make decisions through thinking. I want the thoughts to stop. And actually this morning I had such a disturbing dream, and then when I was half awake, half asleep, my brain was still like entertaining like the disgustingness of the dream. And then when I woke up fully, I was like, oh, that's really not right. Like, why was my brain doing that? I know I keep going around in circles here because I'm not really saying what it is that, well, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I was in a gym and I was like accepting that, I was finally believing, yeah, because the anger wasn't there anymore about like, why is God not intervening? It was more like, okay, you obviously can't intervene, and the only way that you can help me is through these energy feels, it's through these pushes, it's through these like ways that are a bit invisible to me, but not invisible because they end up showing itself, right? So then it's like I'm praying for this, I'm praying for this, and then it ends up becoming true. It's invisible as it's happening, but then it becomes physical in reality once it arrives, and it is what it is that you wanted, right? So life is doing that, and I really, I guess, saw it and believed it today, that okay, life is definitely doing that, isn't it? And so then I was like more accepting to allow that to happen, because for sure, yeah, my code, going back to this code thing, like my code wants peace and it wants kindness, and now nobody can tell me different about any of those feelings, right? This world deserves peace and kindness, and I know that there's a lot of brains out there who have convinced themselves otherwise, right? But your example was painted by your environment, and so of course you're going to say that. But then if you had somebody like me talking in your ear and giving you examples of what it would look like to look different, then your brain will start to change and it will start to go, oh, okay. So I'm not even convinced that people have the right to not want a kind world and to not want a peace world, because they've just not been exposed to it, to understand it, or to even have the option, right? But here I am, and my code is telling me that kindness and peacefulness is what I want, and it's what a lot of people deserve. And I say a lot of people because I really don't want to force like things onto people, right? But let's be real, the majority of people don't like suffering. The majority of people don't like pain, and so therefore it needs to stop. And this is what my code is telling me, right? So I think I'm just becoming more patient to stay around and to do the job, to bring kindness and peace. And I know there's something about the brain, right? Because the brain has somehow taken over, because it happened this morning with me where like my brain was acting inappropriately when I was half awake, half asleep. It was acting inappropriately, and then when I was fully aware and awake and standing up, my brain wasn't doing it anymore because something else was like in control. So I could imagine that the brain, when that something else isn't in control, does things that I can only name it weird. Maybe it was cute to create this like weird thing, that it creates weirdness, and it was like, oh, isn't that interesting? Again, I would want to foresee that. I wouldn't really allow that. If I was God, I wouldn't. Anyway, and there's so many debates because there's so many brains now, and all of the brains are just figuring it all out for themselves, right? Instead of figuring it all out as a collective. But I guess that something happened where I'm feeling more patient to just stick around. I decided, you know what? You know, sometimes, yeah, I skip a word in my sentence, like, because I speak too fast, like I just quickly just like choose to skip that word and move on to the next word. Like I do it quite a lot, and I need to stop doing it. I need to slow down and say all of the words in the sentences, and be more patient to stick around to bring about what it is that people have been praying for, which is peace and harmony. And I'm gonna be, oh, it's the squirrel. You know what, one of my dreams, yeah, before I die, is to hold a squirrel. I want to hold one. I want to like hold it like a baby. You know, like when you put it up in the air and you're like, ah! Like I want to do that. And then I want it to just be like loving me, and then just like go like this to my face. I know that that's me projecting my humanity onto the squirrel, but I'm hoping that we can like give each other what it is that we wish for. Like maybe the squirrel has a wish of what I would do to the squirrel, but I would gladly give it to the squirrel. I'm just going to close this video by going back to this point of like life is it's not a story, because it's funny. You know what, I'm not gonna go there because that video is all video upon itself, isn't it? It's just too much to say about that, and I don't want to like go on further than what I've gone on. So I am going to save that for another video where people really believe that life is a story, meaning there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end, and then there's like loads of processes in between to get to those things. People really believe that, and my code is saying that's not life. I know. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, I know I've just said something that's like not helpful, and I'm just like, how do I make it helpful? And again, this is because I just prematurely said it, so I'm just going to go on about it in another video. So I guess to conclude, what I'm saying is that I'm going to bring kindness and peace to this world because my body's asking me to do it, and I finally feel like maybe right now I am peaceful and I am willing to do it without understanding what I am. Look, what am I? And all I know is that I must be kindness, because that's all that is speaking in me right now. And when I get angry at people, or when I might look like I'm not kind, I very much am embarrassed of that, and I don't like it. And then I go home and I talk to myself about it. To see what went wrong, and then I try my hardest to not do it again. And I do struggle, especially when somebody's attacking me, I do struggle to like always look kind. But regardless of that, regardless of my flaws, because obviously my flaws, let's face it, is because I don't know who I am, or I don't know what God is, or whatever. So regardless of the flaws, I'm going to be bringing kindness. Now the question is what do I name this video? The moment at the gym, life update 2.0. Making peace with life. That's technically it, isn't it? It's you guys, isn't it, that's been tickling my nose. Somebody below, it's the angels touching you. And it's like, no darling, it's the dust particles that are touching me. But you know, if angels can contact me, they should really do that. But I've not had that experience. What I do have though is like lights all the time. I have more than lights, obviously. But what I'm talking about is like the lights of like these little like balls. And then like, for example, I just see one like flash. And I know that maybe a scientist will say, well love, that's the beginning of something that's not right. I'm tired of science. Forget science. Forget the comment. Science can go away where they only see facts, because I'm not like that. I also believe in fiction. I believe that fiction ends up becoming facts depending on how much you want it to become a fact. And then you make it a fact. And that's the power of the life. And I don't know what science is doing or why they're not looking at it like that. Or maybe they are starting to look at it like that. Who knows, because I don't even follow science. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. I really enjoy making these videos. So until next time, I hope that you find kindness and peace in your heart. I don't know, because it feels good. It feels like home, doesn't it? It feels like comforting. It feels like a reassurance. And actually, I realized that we all have like so many different words and we use it in different ways. And we're talking about the same thing, but we use different ways. And I feel like we just get so lost in translation. Again, that's like another video, isn't it? I might add that onto my list, like lost in translation, because that I think deserves a lot more than just a passing comment. But until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Okay, I'm going. See you later. Bye. Bye. Bye.